Oh, we have to do that. They're like, well, I was doing flooring epoxy, and I said, well, you can't change the ratio on the wrong epoxy, and they're like, no, you said in class this is 2-to-1, and I'm like, and it's a different epoxy. Good luck. A terrible mess. All the time, yeah. Yeah. Have fun though. But I always just when they argue, they'll be like, they'll always come back at me kind of nasty sometimes, and then I'm like, just videotape it and tell me what it looks like. Just I'm not gonna argue with you all fucking day. If you want to be dumb, I just want to watch a cool video.
What? Sounds like crunching.
Hi. This is Levi coming to you live from Diamond Coat, where we are about to pour a pearl over this, which should subdue some of our veins from yesterday, so it should be pretty badass. I bet we have some slightly unmixed product. Came off the bottom of the bucket there. I bet if you feel that, it's probably soft.
Yeah, it is.
You can always divots or not. That's unmixed product off the bottom of the container. That is from the color mixed right. Mixed color yesterday. Okay. Who mixed color? And I don't care. So the color was not mixed for shit.
Okay, so what happened wrong?
Just didn't mix it well enough.
I should have kept going longer.
Or better, like maybe pulling it out to the top more, like just you really have to be thoughtful when you're mixing this much product. So regardless of what it doesn't matter. It's just to know that the white was not mixed well enough because it's very evident. And I knew it when I was rolling it at lunch. It was funny. We were talking about it at lunch, and I said when I rolled it, I immediately saw the color separating from the epoxy, and I knew the color, but it was too late. It was already out. So
Now, how do you fix that?
we're pouring it clear, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But if you never really see that. If you mix right, then it's real easy too. It's not a big deal. Now, since we're just doing pearl, I would say start mixing your color right now.
Okay.
So
doing trans blue too.
we are doing trans blue. So I said if we were just doing pearl, so he caught me there because I was gonna do all pearl, but I love doing pearl. She's a sweet old lady. Was that That's not a good joke, I don't think. I always know, as soon as you see something like that ripples, you know that's from not fully mixed epoxy and product color. But because it's a white, you're going to barely see the trans blue. It'll kind of it'll just be kind of a cool shimmer. You see it the right light. No, we'll actually pour it on top. The same as we did the charcoal yesterday, that's how we'll do the pearl. We'll just kind of run the pearl over everything, and then we'll throw some trans blue over the top of it. And I think 1 quart's fine, like 24 ounces is fine. Because I think I'm looking at the charcoal, and I know that was about 2 quarts, and I used a third of it. Yeah.
1 quart is fine then. You really only want like barely a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you rather it be in a 1 quart container?
You're just getting out.
Yeah,
And me like,
Oh, shit. That's what one of my people.
so it's not.
Yeah, about 500 or 600 square feet, probably. Did he measure in 500?
No, he's not even there, but he said around 500.
Yeah, you're probably right. That'd probably be enough. Yeah, we can do that. We can get you enough product for that.
Okay, it will be how many kits?
Of the floor kits, hey, we have a lot of 3s of the outdoor flex, right? 3s or 1.5s?
At the outdoor?
I don't order very often, so do you care if I come and meet somebody with you? I never do orders with anybody.
No, I know. I just want to know the amount. Like,
I need to know if we're selling you 3-gallon kits or 1.5-gallon kits. What we're shipping you. So I got to find out from somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably will. You know what? Since we're not blocking color, no, you're fine. And I'm sorry. It took me a sec to think about that.
So if you're doing a floor, and usually about equate the darker color you need for a 5 gallon, you're going to use 2 of these.
If you're running like a 3, which usually we have the correct size of this per each bucket.
Okay.
So if you're buying the kit or something, you can get it.
And for like it would be the breakdown, or like just order enough epoxy for like 800 square feet or something like that.
And I would get a few extra of these so that if you're doing stick mixes and say, usually like on flooring, that you don't see dark. If you're coloring like a really dark floor, you don't see that. It'll cover. And if you're seeing a really light floor, you don't see it. But say you're covering with any of our metallic powders, and you're going over, say, an expansion joint that was patched, so you have kind of light concrete, then you see the dark patch because it looks darker a lot of times, and then the light floor on the other side. That's what you see. Sometimes not the light or the dark, but you see the transition and then back. So you end up getting patterns. Like patched a bunch of nail holes from popping strip up. Like I popped all the tack strip up, and then I patched it all, and it was all with a dark patch. I think we actually bondoed it all, and you could just tell it there was like a shade difference every 3 feet or something. So we ended up pouring a whole floor again because you could just see these little round holes all around the perimeter. And nothing I could do once I mixed. I knew I was fucked once I was spraying alcohol and noticing it. It was too late to do anything. So I don't know, to be honest, right now. So
This is about 79 on the shot.
Yeah, he said it mine was 78.
Do we want this to be like super opaque, or does it matter?
no, that's fine because it's only going to show up so much in the. When you throw a trans color on top of white, it just doesn't show. So the lighter the color, the less the translucent will show. The darker the color, the better it'll show. Even like if he takes a little bit of this and puts it across the charcoal and the white. You see how much it barely shows, and it shows like crazy. And it usually only shows from certain angles too. It's cool on a white though. I did my sister's floor, and it was all a white floor, white floor. If you walk around, it's just a white floor, and then you see blue kind of pop out of it, but only from a few angles on just the right light, so it's not kind of like a really stupid, overwhelming white floor. Or blue floor, sorry. I'll get them. I'll grab them. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean for you to have to be placing orders. That's not what I intended. So, did you get pizza?
Huh?
Did you get pizza?
Mm-mm.
Really?
I've been staying here and eating my lunch so I could do some emails.
Healthy people. Hey, Dominic. Did you get that pizza to everybody? Did everybody get pizza? Oh, okay.
I told everybody theirs upstairs. So.
Okay, cool.
And was super happy about it. So.
This is for my dad, so maybe we should just do something really fucking stupid on it, just for fun, just to mess with him. Yeah, a big trans purple wiener that he just only at the right light it pops out. It really jumps out at you.
It could be, how about a girl, a picture of a girl?
Yeah, picture of a girl, that would be.
At a certain light, then she has a dick.
We should put my dad's phone number on it for all the single girls on the live to watch. If you're a single lady and you're 20 years younger than my dad, he may be interested. There's a true lint-free roller right there. If you want a lint-free roller, foam.
This phone?
Foam. It's the only true lint-free roller you'll ever have. The only way I've ever got something kind of close to it is torching my roller. What sucks is if you're running really thin coats like what we ran the other day, you'll get lint fibers kind of standing up just a little bit because the so tacky, they'll still kind of pull fibers off those rollers. Whereas this, it would never pull. You'll end up actually pulling the foam itself right off the roller eventually, and then you just swap out another sleeve on there, and it's fine. But that would last a few thousand square feet usually. So I just love foam because it doesn't leave any debris or lint. I do, and it has measurements on it. Making up for not mixing it right yesterday.
How'd you know? It's my penance. As you can tell from my clothes, I'm like the sloppiest. I try not to be. It makes it worse when I try to be.
Hey Dom, when did you put that on there? Yesterday?
Yeah.
So it's been all night? That's cool.
I figured, you know what, try to get it real hard.
Yeah, just watch your tempo on that. Don't let that get away from you, the mix. And I'll start cutting this back there. And I'll start cutting this down.
Yeah, I'm just making sure all the powder.
That's cool, huh?
I don't want to be the one that comes to that.
What's that, true metal?
Yeah, it didn't really give it a polished look, but I want to polish the other side though, because I can polish the other side. But I wanted to also see what just the, because I've tried some just wall epoxy down in there. It's pretty badass. I did. Okay. That's a joke.
Who did the work on the other side?
Just CNC machine.
Why the tight size?
Just to protect it. Usually they sell these panels like that. So now I'm gonna run a router and cut this all flat and then polish it, and yeah, it's okay.
I didn't see it really. So.
Hey Dom, toss me that temp gun. $135-ish, 130. 163. Post-curing products. So one way to add additional hardness to a job is as soon as the initial reaction's taken place and say it sets up, but it's not cured yet, it's cured for say 6 hours, 8 hours. So it's gotten kind of hard to the touch, but it's definitely not cured. You add a heat lamp to it. You can even do this on countertops, and then you can get it up to about 180, and you can leave that on there for anywhere from 12 to 24, 48 hours, and it really quickly hardens that epoxy, and it'll make it a lot harder than you could ever get if you were just to let it naturally cure in 70, 75 degree temperatures. The other thing to remember is once that cure is fully taken place, like you let it wait 24 hours, you're not going to be able to initiate the reaction any longer. So you do want, if you're going to post-cure, you're going to want to kind of catch it in that first 24 hours or less, so so that you can keep that chemical reaction happening during the curing process. So learned that in Africa. That really did. Got to go to an airplane manufacturing plant, and they would park the whole plane, carbon fiber plane, inside of a big booth, like a big room like this, and park the whole thing in there, turn it up to 180 degrees, let it sit for 24 to 48 hours, and then all the flex came right out of it. It became a really rigid airframe. So,
Can I see the other side of it?
yeah, What's our temp?
84.6. And then I think this is like 86. 85.
What?
85.
Okay.
No, that's like they routed it, right?
Yeah, they with a CNC machine, yeah. They were just testing design to see what we could pour, because we're doing some barn doors with that for our boardroom. That?
Different sections of panels. So
Yeah, we want to route the pirate into the doors and then pour the pirate and then polish it off and pour epoxy over it. So, who thinks we worship Satan from our logo? Dom just does. I don't, yeah.
His death water he brought us.
Yes. Does anybody know what the pirate's about? What that little guy is?
Blackbeard?
Yeah, how did you know this?
Because Leah told me yesterday.
Yeah.
Cheating.
Just a pirate. It's not that exciting.
It's the floor cold.
71 degrees.
How did you guess that? That was
Right
Yeah,
on.
it literally was.
Because I've thought about the building being about 74 for a long time, and I knew the floor would be a tiny bit cooler.
true. Because the heaters don't like kick on when it's under 70.
And you're close to the wall. I bet if you go over there by the bar, you're 72 degrees. And I've probably checked temperature on 1,000 floors. So
Upstairs on the other.
it's quite the circle jerk here. I don't even know what that means. I just heard older people saying that one time, so I try to talk cool and say things like that. I got away with that in school a lot because I was a dorky little kid that had an innocent face. I told my librarian, which was a bitchy old lady, that she was the word I'm not supposed to say. She went to the principal's office one time, and I was really new at school, so I said, "Oh, look at that! The librarian's giving the principal a blowjob because they closed the blinds." And this bitch gets up out of the classroom and walks in and tells him, I'm like, what the hell's up with that? And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe my own classmates ratted me out that quick. So the principal took me in and he's like, hey, why'd you say I was getting a blowjob? And I said, I don't know, I just heard kids saying that and I just was trying to say it. And he was like, oh, we don't say that here. And I was like, all right. And I was like, okay. And I went back in the classroom and I was like, closed the door and I was like, the principal's getting his dick sucked. And they're like, go home. So, straight to the house for you. So, I couldn't play off. I just heard kids saying that.
Yeah, he just did.
I was a terrible child. In all fairness, that librarian and her little partner were the ones, my first day in school, I was homeschooled, and she goes, I don't expect much out of you. Most of you kids are pretty stupid, so I was like, so I sat down and I threw a chunk of clay as hard as I could, modeling clay, tried to scare her, and it hit her right in the head. I knocked her glasses off. It's like, apparently I don't play sports either. So. She was like, this class isn't continuing until I find out who did that. Nobody knew, so nobody talked. And I was like, awesome, we don't get to school again. Talk shit, old lady.
That was over here?
Yeah. I got finally asked to leave that school for good, so. I was suspended 37 times in 3.5 years, so.
I like to eat again.
I got sent to a school for special kids, a farm school for boys.
I know. That's why I had a Cobb salad. Okay.
$1,000 degrees, buddy.
1,000 degrees. Depends on where you hit it, Don. Sorry. How hot?
Guess.
89. 86. Stir it and you won't be.
Toss that salad.
88 at least.
91.
See, told you it was hotter than you thought.
You want 95?
Yeah, we might as well dump it. No, just a lot of that heat was down in the bucket, and when I mixed it, it came up, so. All right. Now for my shoulder workout.
All over you.
Hey, Tom. Over, please.
Say hold your ass when you bend over?
So, he's so special. He's so special. Nobody's stealing my dom. Today, the big guy. I know he can reach out there. And then you just leave the bucket upside down at the far end.
Not with the handle
Yeah, don't pull a Levi and throw the handle in it. Hey, hey, McNiggin. Here, roll this out. So somebody turns my fucking arrow on me. Oh, okay, so nobody's out there? Sorry. I was gonna say, if somebody's turning the arrow on the consulting, I'm not gonna be very... Now, see how it's just kind of covering the charcoal, but you still see through it?
Yeah.
Take a tiny bit of this, of the blue, mix just the tiniest bit of charcoal in it. Not much. Pour it out into a quart, like 4 ounces or less. Thanks, Leah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah, not 92 probably is the average bucket. 10 bucket, 92. Biggest reason is there's still some big piles there. It's still warming up as thick as that is. It's still getting warmer, and I want to be able to spread it before it gets too hot. So if you have a lot to spread, don't wait till it hits 95 or 100 and get really good at it.
Is there anyone that's still making an order?
Apparently not. Well, that's nice. We have to leave that.
He does.
Levi.
Sure. Yeah, we'll talk.
91. Hey, Jordan.
He wants to know where the flower came from.
They got lost. How about the drips? What do you do about?
So grind them right off, sand them off, run a flush cut on a router. That's real easy. There's a lot of ways to take those off.
You okay?
Sorry. Way more, like make it. Oh, I meant just a little bit of epoxy. I'm sorry. Powder. Charcoal. I like that. Sorry, guys. Just cannot stand doing that like that anymore. Don't step at the crack between the tables at all. That felt like I might have disappeared there if I did it twice. Yeah.
Is that trans blue and black? Or charcoal?
Yeah, looks really cool.
All right, you guys got.
They're just trans.
Is that like about the shade you want?
Yeah. Huh. It'll be at my dad's house. There'll be a penis. Huh?
Yes.
Man, if you look at this from up here, one angle, same stuff I just poured is completely just white pearl. The other is totally blue, just depending on where it's reflecting. Oh, son of a gun. Did I just wipe myself with dirty towels? Yes, I did. Probably. Yeah, get me some alcohol rag if I can. So. Nobody would want to be there. Leah's last day at work. Fat Levi fell. We tried to catch him. He was unhurt.
Just go for it.
I'd be like, I broke my shoulder because of you. What the?
What?
It's like you spent the night with Michelle Obama. I don't know why you guys are thinking dirty, you weirdos. Why are you guys so gross? Yes. I hate when classes try to take everything I say dirty.
Yeah. Can you do that for
That's fucking badass, guys. I mean, I'm sure my dad won't like it, but we like it, right? Yeah. We know where to stick it. I'm kind of practicing for the floor because this is, I want to run a wet base today on the floor, run a clear with some pearl in it tomorrow or Monday or next Wednesday or whenever we do it. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It looks okay, guys. Oh, you already have it. That might be a better sprayer than this too. So. Unless you own the place, don't ever do this. Especially with white. You can turn white very quickly, guys. You can just turn over torch white and then it'll yellow faster. Okay. Hey, get rid of what?
eyebrow.
Oh, yeah. You don't need to wax anything or try. I plucked all my eyebrows at once. In a campfire. I've never plucked my eyebrows. Yeah. Oh gosh. If I plucked my eyebrows, I'd need to look in the mirror better and be like, come on. I'm not good looking enough to worry about looks. Sometimes I go to the gym, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen a mirror for 3 days. Wow, that guy looks creepy. Oh, that's me. Why do they let people like that in here? Go to Gold's. It's. I try to keep everybody at my gym so that I have it to myself.
I was gonna say.
All right, what do y'all think? I think it's okay.
I think the charcoal underneath looks blue because
What do you think? She's actually a famous faux painter right here. And this is her son, I believe, and he's also a very, is that right? This is, I don't know who, he's nothing then. She is a famous faux painter that should be.
Not. Now
She is.
red from the flames.
She is very.
No, that's cool.
She's like about probably the best in Colorado. So. She really is. She's being nice. But all the really, really rich people that have stuff done, they hire her all over the state. So. And that is true. I'm not trying. If she sucked, do you think I would tell her?
Yeah.
Well, she wouldn't be here doing my office. So.
Did you just stop?
Hey, that's cool. But
Yeah. Isn't you like that?
Yeah, I brought you a sample too, so I know which direction you're headed. We hope.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah, he's freaking me out.
You can do it. I believe in you.
I think that looks good.
The only thing is, do you think he'll think it has too much copper?
I think
Or
too much charcoal, big time. But it is away with a different hue since it's a transition.
Yeah. Is that going on the wall?
With a TV on it. So his wall comes down, has a big recess in it, like where there used to be a fireplace, and he tore the fireplace out up, so it's like a big recess, and this is in the back corner of that, like.
So he's putting his TV on it, like mounted?
Mounting it to the face of that. Yep. And he'll probably actually, I would guess, he's gonna silicone this and clamp it to the wall. So. I would probably just trim all my drips and make sure I have some really secure it well, and just because you can usually clamp and silicone something super flat to your wall, whereas screwing it in and stuff, you end up getting warps, and since you're dealing with a perfectly glossy object, you'll see any little warping and bowing. You're gonna run that edge? Yeah. Thank you. Look for any little voids around the edge. So this is where I usually make a lot of my mistakes, because it's very easy to pour a clear on a clear. You see the void right there? It's very easy to pour a clear on a clear, and both are glossy, so you miss it. So you need to go around and inspect later and really look for little missing spots, because like right there.
Yeah.
You got samples?
I do.
All
I
right.
just need you for a
You
second.
guys
Can
finish.
fill in for a second?
Just finish this up. Do whatever you want to do. We're gonna pour a floor in here. So maybe get that. Hey Dom, maybe get that sander. Or you know what? No way. We'll run the vac, the Festool. Yeah. So we're dust free.
He wouldn't be down.
Oh, winter. That's fine. I guess if we can't do it, then we can't do it. Shit. This is your T-bar head right here. If you notice, swivels. Usually it comes too tight. This is really dumb. You got to kind of unscrew the bolt in there, usually a tiny little bit, just so it swivels easily. You want it to pivot back and forth real easy, so you're not digging into your floor. If you notice how these T-bars are angled at the end, this is so you can get right up next to a wall. You can actually cut in your walls without taping anything off. If you run tape all around your baseboards, it's fine if you run it up high, like a ½ inch up your baseboard, and run plastic up your wall. So if you're spraying colors, you're not any or baseboards or anything. Usually a gloss paint, the powders that you spray out of the alcohol evaporates off. You can wash the powder right out. But if it's any satin, shell, anything that's not a gloss, it's not going to clean right off. It usually melts right into the wall and stays there, so you might want to tape it off. But do never tape all the way down, or whatever color your tape is going to be epoxied into your floor, and you're going to have little lines around your whole floor. So make sure if you do run tape on the floor, you run it up high enough. Then you can run this nice and easy and slow. As long as you're kind of careful how you push the product, you push it right up to your baseboard, and it gets a smoother, sharper line than anything you could ever tape and paint, because it self-levels. So you should have just a razor sharp edge along your baseboards. If you're ever afraid, say you're working in an apartment complex or something like that, caulk the bottoms of your walls because you don't want to accidentally epoxy your neighbor's carpet or something. I did a storefront in Lubbock, Texas, and I ended up epoxying part of their sidewalk out front because it went right underneath the wall. So there is a T-bar. As you see, you run it just like a Swiffer. You can run these out quite a ways too, so you can kind of get some reach on it. And as you notice, you just can always run a figure 8. And you can spread your whole floor about as fast as you can move. Usually I'm pretty organized. I try to stay with my path of epoxy and at least try to get this organized. If I'm doing a pattern on the floor, I'll pour all my colors real dirty all over the floor. Has anyone ever seen videos of us doing that? Just like what we did on that panel, but instead of a roller, I just run my T-bar down it, and it works just perfect. So, any questions? I never torch a floor, and I'm glad you asked. I usually always just spray alcohol, and I won't even let a torch be there because we have so much alcohol down. You'd know somebody if they're out there. Burn the building down. So I used to torch floors, but alcohol works so much better. Alcohol evaporates, so it creates a cooling effect, and the cooling effect slows down the cure rate on a floor. Usually floors, you're working with enough 1,000 square feet that cooling it down is always a good thing. Buy yourself as much time as you want. So, and usually a slow cure is a harder cure. So, and yeah, squeegee is for a skim coat, because skim coats are to block air. You don't want any excess product. Anywhere where the product's thicker, air has a chance to come through and create a bubble. If it's thinner, it can't create a bubble because there's no product for the bubble.
For the second, we use the T-bar?
T-bar, yeah.
Only that?
Any other coats are T-bar. As soon as your skim's done, that's all I ever use. Urethane, even if I'm putting a urethane on top of my floor, I run a T-bar. Everything's a T-bar.
And then the pouring will be almost the same as you did with the shower?
It'd be very similar to that, yeah. So, and I have actually poured panels that were really large using a T-bar. So it's a very easy tool to use. Any other questions? I am sorry about our scheduling. Remodels are tough. Has anyone ever done a remodel? Yeah, so we know that scheduling can be a bit of a challenge. I'm glad at least you guys got to see the most important coat. The next coat would go exactly like what we just did using floor epoxy. So, anything else? Okay. Have a good day. Anyone that has meetings, let me know if you want to place orders. Talk to Sarah or one of the girls. If you have any questions for me, I'll be available here for a little bit, and I'm meeting with you, I believe, right now. So let's make sure Ethan's ready to meet, then you come to the meeting too. Since you're the only one that knew my freaking schedule. So, thank you guys. Sure appreciate everybody today. Apologize for not doing the floor. Hope you like the panel. Next week we'll be doing a really badass. Next week we're going to pour white in that floor, and then we're going to run our clear a little bit for a pattern on top. It's all for her. She's going to be basically, she's going to have this massive office. Oh, yeah, we're actually though. I'm not going to do that, I think. I might, but I'm going to try to get the right wood. I cut that table and mitered it down. I'm going to try to cut it, but actually have turn a big one into an L. So the whole courtesy panel, in case she wears a short skirt, is all are for.